Gotta plug my mic in. What up, everybody? What up? Gotta plug my mic in real quick. I think I got enough juice. Man. Let's see. There we go. Let me.
You try to catch the beginning of that debate, huh? Yeah, you was trying to catch the
Man,
little see if Biden was gonna fuck up in the beginning.
I ain't watching that, bro. Got my computer locked up. Damn, my computer just froze on me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, there we go. We back. All right. But yeah, damn. Every time I trying to switch to my, I don't know. Okay, I did not mean to do that at all. Who cares about the Knicks? Um, so audio. Oh God, there we go. There we go. All right, I think we good to go. All right, all right, all right. This is the place where sports opinions collide. That is sports. I'm your host, Kim Beans. Joining me on the show, we have Shelton J.
What's happening? What's happening?
And right.
What up, though?
Oh,
They jumped a little bit. I ain't really hear you. I don't know if it was
Oh,
my.
okay.
I just figured you said
Yeah.
it. What's going on with everybody?
Yeah, I did. Where's my phone? But yeah, man, I mean, we're not gonna be on here all that long. We of course, didn't do a show Thursday because the draft was Wednesday for some odd reason. Has it always been on Wednesdays?
I think it
Oh,
has. It's only been one day though, right?
Usually it's 2 days
So
today.
so it's yeah, it you know it's normally one day, and I think it's on Tuesday.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this was a little weird, but all right, man. But yeah, but before then, man, it was. I think the big news that happened was, of course, Mikal Bridges being traded to the Knicks for like 87 picks, which was weird as hell. So let's talk about that, and then we'll get into the draft. I'm with you, Spike. I saw your question to Nick about whether or not Mikal Bridges was worth all of that. And he is absolutely not worth 4 unprotected first round picks, but 7 total. That makes absolutely no sense to me when I saw it. And shit, they talking and actually, I mean, I think they're going to be winning over the next 4 years or so for them to give them like 4 unprotected picks. Too bad his damn spouse or whoever he was beating up wasn't protected, but that's neither here nor there. Allegedly. So I thought there was some irony in the picks being unprotected. Nevertheless, I thought that was insane, bro. That's crazy. Y'all, yeah, what y'all think?
I I kind of disagree. And the only reason I disagree, and I get where everybody's coming from when they say that, because I felt the same way until I watched the draft. And you're sitting here watching this draft, and these guys are getting.
Oh, did I get the wrong Bridges? Oops,
yeah, that's
my bad.
Miles Bridges.
Yeah, that is the wrong Bridges.
Damn, man, why y'all say something, bro?
Hey, look,
I didn't know either till they just said in the chat though.
Because the Bridges you talking about is a Hornet, so I had to laugh it off and keep it moving.
I done jumped on the wrong person, bro. I'm sorry, Mikal, bro.
So this Bridge is the one that came. Where he come from? Phoenix.
Phoenix, yeah.
He started in Phoenix and then ended up in Brooklyn.
Oh shit! Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miles allegedly.
Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby?
That's what he did.
My bad.
But the thing of it is,
Mikal definitely ain't worth 4 damn picks. At least, that's crazy, bro.
Well, the thing about it is, we look at the Rudy Gobert effect and what Rudy Gobert brought to Minnesota, got them further than they've ever been. And Rudy didn't do it. Let me clarify. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the makeup of that team got them further along than where they were before. And we watched this draft that we just watched. Didn't nobody know none of them players. We didn't even know the number one player. We don't know if he's even going to have an impact at all for Atlanta. So those picks that we're so used to holding valuable and close to our hearts don't mean anything at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Especially the later rounds, you can get a star in the second round just as easy now as you can in the first round. So in saying that,
based off this draft we just seen,
because they're all the same. Like everybody's the same thing. You know, you really don't know who's what. You know, I look at Connect, and we'll talk about some of the picks in a minute, but I look at Connect with the Lakers, and that's who I was hoping Charlotte got. Because to me, he's the most NBA ready out of all of them. And he went 17. So you really just don't know what you got. But in saying that, the picks are not as valuable as they were back in our time, which was 3 years ago even. So now these picks don't mean as much. So you mortgage that for your present, especially with the Knicks. And the Knicks have the ability to sign free agents. They have the ability, because it's a destination city, to make moves that other teams can't make. So they can mortgage their future for their present.
Bro, who's the big signing that the Knicks have gotten over the last couple of years besides Randall? And I think they traded him. No, I can't remember how they got him.
Shit. Brunson
is who I was going to
say. Brunson wasn't shit until he was a name, and he was barely a name in damn Dallas. He made a name for himself. So attracting free agents, unless you're talking right now, I don't know if they can attract name brand free agents, but they'll get people that want to play with them. Yes, but name brand free agents, I don't know about that.
They can, and the reason why they can more so than ever before is because the Knicks that we saw have always been trash. This past Knicks team, a lot of people probably looked at them and said, that looked like it's pretty fun to play with, and they're only a couple pieces away. So I think that this is the closest the Knicks don't ever get to where they what the franchise is supposed to be. They ain't really got to worry about losing no fan base because Knicks fans are Knicks fans. So you go all in and you take the shot where you have to take it. That's where it's supposed to be. So that's what they had to do.
Yeah, I feel like this is their best opportunity to win now. And they think that Brunson's a superstar based off his playoff performance. They seen the chemistry with DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, and they seen what Obi could do. Now we add Mikal Bridges to this. Probably trade what's my man name?
Julius Randle.
Yeah, you probably got to trade him, get some depth. And then you got probably one of the most solid teams in the East. I don't know if you can compete with Boston, but I do feel like that you have a very solid team that can compete with anybody else in the East, and maybe you get lucky and beat Boston based off injuries or something. But after I asked the question, Ken, like, and seeing this draft, like those 4 picks, I kind of agree with Sheldon. Like, who cares? Like, I don't know if the NBA or NCAA, like what they're going to do to develop players, and the Knicks probably looking at it like the same way. Like, we can miss out on a couple of drafts. Like, it very rarely is anything great coming through the pipeline. So I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah, but isn't that just this draft? I mean, what are the projections for the next couple of drafts?
I haven't heard any rumblings.
Yeah, I hadn't heard.
Like they already talking about what's Bronny's brother name? Bryce. That's 2 years from now.
Yeah, and, there's not a Wemby that's coming tomorrow. So we had a Wemby coming. We had an Ant Edwards coming. We had somebody that was like a surefire number one. That ain't really Cooper Flag. Yeah, you're right. Marty McFly, I just seen him put that in there. Cooper's supposed to be that guy, but still, the Knicks ain't gonna get a number one pick anyway.
Cooper gonna get exposed in college,
and he'll be gone by the time the Knicks pick anyway. So the Knicks projections are they're gonna be successful for the next 3-4 years. So they won't have a high pick anyway. So by the time you look towards the bottom of that draft, those people won't make the impact that he can make for them right now. Also, adding Bridges. Bridges is known as a 3-and-D guy. He's a stopper, and he was a number one in Brooklyn, which he's not going to have to be in New York, but he was a number one in Brooklyn. You pair him with OG, and you can match up with a Jaylen Brown in a Tatum. I like Bridges and OG against Brown and Tatum. You got 2 great defenders that can score. So I
don't say much about Brown and Tatum.
It don't.
It don't say much about the people that just won a championship. If I can roll Obi and one of the Bridges who we aren't even sure who he is in this on this stream.
That's just
If
me.
I can roll him out against Brown and Tatum, I say a lot more about Brown and Tatum than I do to think about Obi and Bridges. Even if you think
but they
they won a championship.
They good defenders though, Lou, and you're gonna keep Randall around. And the reason being is when OG and Randall played together, I think their record was ridiculous. It was something like 16-3 or something like that. They had a real good record with those players together with Randall on that team. So I don't think they're gonna move on from him. The thing is, who are they gonna keep between Hartenstein and Mitchell? Which I would vote for keeping. What'd you say?
Oh, okay. So Randall would be the 4, and Mitchell or Hardenstein would be the 5.
Yes. So
and then you have
one
OB.
of those two, yeah.
And then Miles Bridges comes off the bench.
You could have Miles Bridges at the 2, and you could have Brunson, Bridges, OB, and Randall and Hartenstein is who I would keep because he's the yes, Mitchell. Man, if you watch Hartenstein down the stretch, they didn't. You forgot
a couple rebounds,
but he can shoot and pass. He was playing real good down the stretch.
He did a good job. I don't know if I'm trying to win a chip, like he can't be a key piece. He can be a good role player, but I think that the other dude got more potential, right?
No, Mitchell is a shot blocker and he can block shots and he can roll to the basket and dunk. But Hartenstein can pass.
He can shoot threes too, right?
Who?
Got a little shot on him. Mitchell.
Mitchell?
Yeah.
No. Mitchell can't shoot it all.
He can't shoot it all?
No.
I thought I seen him outside by the 3-point line.
He was that he wasn't doing nothing but setting the screen. He's one dimensional. But Hartenstein can shoot. He can shoot, that mid-range jumper, and he's a good, really, really good passer from the post. So you add him in there with Randall and his passing, you definitely want to keep him around, but I don't think they're gonna be able to afford him. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was they overpaid for him. Mikal Bridges can play, but he ain't worth 7 damn picks. 7 picks is insane. So they're gonna probably have. If I'm them, I'm trading Randall to get some of that. So those picks back. So if they do that, then I'm like, okay. Especially if some of those picks are gonna be late, they're just replacing what they lost. But yeah, I think they going for it, but they ain't gonna go anywhere.
Do they still have cap room? Do they have cap room to sign a free agent too, or did OB take all the money?
They can afford to sign one of those 2 big men. I think they can. They would have to take a lesser deal, I think, but they could afford to do it. I think that somebody's gonna overpay for Hartenstein. And I don't know if they want Mitchell back or not.
With the way this team is now, do you think they could take out some of the top teams in the East, like Boston, Philly, maybe? I don't know. I don't even want to include Philly because they always banged up towards this.
You never know if they're gonna be hurt or not.
Yeah. I think so, man, because once again, if you keeping all that depth, because the way the way I see the lineup, you got DiVincenzo and Josh Hart coming off the bench, and that's strong. That's super strong. And you take some of that scoring load off of what Brunson had to do. Brunson had to do way too much. And you add in Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is going to get you 20 points a game. He can get you 20.6 rebounds, 5 assists. And adding that in to that core, and you have Randall back, they can get past a lot of those teams in the East. They match up pretty well on those other teams. It just depends on what they do at the center.
They were second in the East this year without Bridges, so I would expect them to be better than everybody but Boston.
They backdoored their way into being second spot.
But what do you expect to change though, Ken? Like we can expect Embiid to get hurt again, and Tyrese Maxey having to lead that team. We can expect Tyrese Halliburton until he's shown that he can play a full year at an MVP level like he was at the beginning of the year for them to be in the middle of the pack. We can expect Jimmy Butler not to show up in the regular season. I would put the Knicks in second because of
but that don't mean
the only thing I would say is the Cavs, depending on what Donovan Mitchell do and what kind of trades that they make for they big man and Evan Mobley. What's the dude with the fro name? whoever the big man is for Cleveland.
Allen.
Yeah,
Jared
if
Allen.
they can get rid of Allen or do something with Mobley, like to kind of fortify their roster, then Cleveland may be a problem. That's the other team that I see that has some potential. But I don't like, who else are you scared of? The Magic?
Yeah, but the
Milwaukee.
thing is, well, Magic probably not. But here's the thing: just because you're the second best team in the East, doesn't mean you're a high quality second best team in the East. It means you're just everybody else is just worse than you. There's a gap. There was a clear gap between Boston and everybody else. So that's why I said them backdooring into being second place it's going to make them look like they were better than what they were because Embiid got hurt and they fell off. But so if he stay healthy, Halliburton stay however shape out, what, the third, fourth, fifth, maybe best in the East. So, I don't know.
With a roster,
anyway,
like as Sheldon said, with a roster you feel like could take anybody though. Like if we get Tatum and Green in a 7-game series and we have these people on the wing and we have this depth, they may feel like they can take them in 7.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. Like having Mikal Bridges and OG matching up against Tatum and Brown, like you go get them for Boston. This seems like it's a move to try to counter Boston. So
Correct.
I do agree with you there.
And like I said, what hurt them more than anything else is when they would have to go to the bench. They didn't have their strength was their starting lineup. Then you lose OG, you just short, and that's exactly what happened to them this time. They were short, and adding in a player like Bridges and getting back a player like Randall, and I don't know, you add all those pieces in there with what they had. Plus, you already got team chemistry. You know each other already. It ain't like you gotta, they're excited to play with each other. We saw what happened to DiVincenzo. That's a new man. Josh Hart, same thing. He's a new. When they came to New York, it was like the key was unlocked because anybody think about them before they got there, and they were true threats down the stretch, both of them. So you add that in, get them coming off the bench, which I don't think they'll have a problem doing, and you should have a pretty formidable opponent, unless Thibodeau mess it up.
What if Paul George was to the Magic?
Oh my God, bro! God damn, bro!
Hey man, let me
where would that put them?
Paul George. Paul George is going to be a Golden State Warrior. Book it. Count it right now. They
gonna keep Clay and sign him?
No, I don't know about Clay. Clay's pretty much gone. Clay was probably going to be with the Magic, but
so Clay can go to the Magic.
Book it right now. Paul George will be with Golden State. That's
what's the logic behind that?
Well,
I said, what's the logic behind that?
They want him, and he wants them.
Okay. Does that keep them where they need to be, though? Or is that enough?
I don't think so. Paul George doesn't move the needle. But it keeps him interesting, put it that way. But I don't think it's enough at this point in his career to make the difference necessary. That West is strong. And them young guns ain't the youngins ain't scared of the old ones no more. It was a point in time in life when you were a young player, you were afraid of the elder statesman. The refs called it a certain way, and it was just a different game. Now it's all at level playing field, and the young dudes know that they run it now, so they're not scared and ain't scared. And neither is SGA. Them dudes ain't scared of nobody right now. And they've already tasted what we talked about all the time was experience and getting in there and getting your feet wet. Well, they've done that now. So now you're going to see a true gunfight in the West. And I think it's too much for Golden State and LA to handle. Both LA.
Let's hop to the draft, man.
Real quick, Ken, before the draft, did Phoenix say they was not going to trade KD? Because it seems somebody was coming looking for him, right? Saying that they wanted KD, and then Phoenix. Did they come out and say they weren't going to trade him?
Stephen A. Smith reported that they were going to get rid of him, but their owner said.
And who wanted him?
The owner said, huh?
Who wanted KD? Who were they saying wanted him?
Well, I saw reports about Houston maybe being the destination.
Yeah, Houston. It was Houston.
And Dallas maybe being I like the Dallas move. I like that probably the best, but I don't see it happening. Adding KD with Luka and Kyrie?
No.
That would be nice.
We already tried the Kyrie and KD thing. It didn't work.
Well, yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, they already tried that.
But
Houston, though, could be the way Houston ended last year, like the way that they were playing together, and the coach having Udoka, I could see them going for KD and being like a playing team.
But I don't think they'll do it because you don't want to mess up that young chemistry. They got a nice young core. They uh they had a good
Fuck
draft
that.
as
You can get
well.
KD.
But at the same time, they're growing. Where they are right now, the only thing he can do is stunt that growth. But they can project on. I think Houston can have a big year without KD. I
Mm.
think they can take a leap because that team is constructed nicely, and you got a good coach.
Mm.
Once again, those them pups ain't scared no more.
Mm.
So yeah, there's a chance. But I saw back to what you asked. I saw what the owner said. KD loves Phoenix, and Phoenix loves KD. So
That don't mean he's staying.
that don't mean nothing, but that's what he
That
said.
don't mean shit. That's a
Hmm.
nothing burger right there.
Right. Hmm.
Well, um, I'm just be open and transparent to everybody. We don't know any of these motherfucking players in the draft like that, y'all.
It was like a Tommy Davidson being Kim. Who are these niggas? Who are
For
these
real.
niggas?
So the
Please.
analysis is gonna be I get whatever. I mean there are some names I'm sure Shelton know, but I'm telling y'all right now, I'm freaking clueless. Um, so I just read up as much as I could, but I think the biggest takeaway I had, Shelton, after everything is my question that I kept asking myself or thinking was, is this a championship role players draft? Like they're just finding that guy that's going to come in, fit on the team, play, do his job, and that's it. There's no superstars, no elite player, anything like that as of today. You know, well, it's just guys that are going to come in and fit the team.
You
What
know,
do y'all think?
and somebody asked it, said in the chat. I was gonna say I said the same thing in our group chat. It was funny watching Stephen A. do analysis, and he didn't know he didn't know nobody, man. He hadn't seen nobody. The Knicks pick, he was looking like, who is this nigga? Like it was
Like, where
funny
are
to
you
watch.
supposed to see these players at?
Man, you can. The only way you can is by watching the highlights online. If you sat back, like if I was gonna do what he did, I would have sat back and watched all the pre-draft stuff, and I would have tried to look at all the mock drafts and try to get as much information as I could. But hey, you Stephen A, you ain't really got to do all that, and that's what he did. He sat back. But to answer your question, Ken, I honestly think we may find a diamond in the rough in this draft, and I say that meaning, you look at a Joker, you look at Giannis, players like that. When they came out, nobody knew what they were going to be. Is some of the same type stuff like who you drafted who, you know what I'm saying? It was the same feeling that I had then, but when those guys got on the big stage because they were prepared and they had a little bit of skill and size, of course, they were able
That's true,
to.
Shelton. That was with those particular players. They blossomed to be stars, but it's very rare that you have a whole draft of those. So, like, usually there's some players that we know. Usually
Mhm.
there's some players that we saw play in college or we've heard some inkling about. And yeah, I know people like the dude from Purdue. We've heard of him, or the Kentucky dude. I've seen him before. The dude from Tennessee that you spoke of.
Mhm.
Like, but other than that, it's like you'll go through these names and be like, bro, I have no idea who any of these people are. And this is the first time. This is the first time that I've looked at a draft and thought that.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying, well, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that, like, what I'm saying is there's one or two diamond in the roughs in here. Not
Mm.
all of these players are going to be all stars, but a couple of them, I guarantee it's going to be a couple of them out of this. We're going to be like, where did this dude come from? Sengun and players like that, that we didn't know nothing about until they got in the league. We didn't see them until they were on the court. That's what we're going to get out of this draft. I think there's some talent out there, and some of these dudes play well overseas. It will translate to the NBA game. I really like, out of the players, I'm gonna tell you a couple of them that I really like. I like Reed Shepherd going to the Rockets. Reed Shepherd is out of Kentucky, white kid, shooting guard, combo guard. He can handle the ball. He's got skills. I like Reed Shepherd. Of course, Alex Sarr, who I thought the Hawks were going to take. Come to find out, he didn't really want to go there.
He
He
didn't
wanted
want
to
to
be
go
in
to the
Washington.
Hawks.
He's got some skill. He could probably blossom into that. Stephon Castle, who's from out here where I'm from, he's from Covington. Um, he went to San Antonio to team up with Wemby. I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. Uh, he came out of UConn, so he's a champion already. He's a young guy, hungry with a lot of talent. And Rob Dillingham going to he was with the Spurs, but they traded him to Minnesota. I love that pick. I love it. Pairing Rob Dillingham with Ant coming down on the break together, man, that's crazy. That's crazy right there. Rob is gonna be that guy. That's gonna be a name that y'all gonna know.
Let
And
me
like I
ask you
said,
this: who can you not wait to see play next year?
Dalton connect with the Lakers, which I don't know what Bronny to be honest with you,
Really?
and I say that because that's huge, and I know we'll get to that in a second. But Dalton Connect was probably one of my favorite players in the draft. But Rob Dillingham is probably number one. Watching Rob Dillingham, what we like about Ant, we'll like the same things about Rob. Their personalities are very similar. Them dudes ain't scared of nobody and nothing, and they both some dogs, and they both got super talent. So what you see in Ant, you're gonna see the same thing in Rob Dillingham. Trust me. And I would love to see that backcourt together because they can play off of each other, and they're gonna make each other better. I hope they keep Mike Conley around to help him out a little bit. But I like him. I like Jared McCain, dude to be painting his fingernails, going crazy he went to Philly, but he got a lot of talent. Dude got a lot of talent. He's a dookie, which I don't like, but I like watching him play. So he's gonna be special, I think too. But that one, like I said, that one I want to see is Rob Dillingham, and I think that's gonna be what y'all gonna like too, because I know how everybody feels about Ant. You're gonna feel the same way about Rob. Oh, let me tell you the last one too is Isaiah Collier went to Utah. He was a favorite of mine, and he got drafted way later than I thought he was. He was at one point projected to be the number one pick. He went out there with Bronny, and he's 29th. So he went to Utah. So Utah had a really nice draft. They got him and Filipowski from Duke. So they got some really, really good talent from the States. So I really like them.
I'm interested to see what Edie doing in Memphis coming back with Ja. They trying to make him like Steven Adams. They say that's what the role they want him to fill. I'm interested to see if did Memphis really just strike out here because I didn't see him projected anywhere at number 9. I saw him like as a second round pick in all of the projections that I saw. So them to take a chance like that because he's 7'4", I wonder does that change some of the pipelines in the AAU as far as how they play big man? Because he's not the big man that you usually see now. He ain't the big man that's on the perimeter. He's a traditional big man, and I'm wondering can Memphis win with the traditional big man? If they thinking, oh, I can use him and compete with Gobert and compete with Minnesota, who just went to the Western Conference Finals, or compete or put him on Joker and leave people to roam around. I'm wondering if there was because now you have him and Jared Jackson, and Jackson is Defensive Player of the Year. I'm feeling like now I'm toe for toe with Minnesota. If I got Ja back and he can go toe to toe with Ant-Man, I feel really good about my chances if I'm Minnesota. So I'm really interested to see how that Edie pick play out.
Yeah,
Terribly.
you think so? Well,
They're hyping him up.
But they was not hyping him, Ken.
They
I
wasn't
think
no
it's a
Ken.
they
For the
was
most
talking
part,
about him going second round or not even drafted.
right. For the most part, he didn't get a lot of hype, so he went a lot higher than projected. Um, as far as in the States goes and college goes, he was dominant in college. And what you need him for, him getting those rebounds and creating extra possessions for your team is going to be nice. But like you said, the problem is going to be you got to chase Joker around. You got to come on the perimeter and guard some players, which won't be easy to do because some of those big men in the NBA move around. NBA is positionless, so he's going to have to be caught out there on switches, and that's when we're going to see what he can do. Which that's going to be kind of tough for him because he's a big dude, but he can
What
score.
about
He's got a
Sarr?
lot of talent. Say it again now.
What about Sarr? Y'all interested in seeing him play at all?
Really, really a lot. I really, really am. But the only thing is he's going to be in Washington. But Washington pairing him with, they got another big guy. I can't remember his name, but they got another young dude. And they both got really long wingspans. They both going to be good defenders. So they saying Washington's interior defense is going to be really tough. So I'm really interested to see what Washington can do. But I think he's going to be tough.
Washington ain't gonna do nothing.
No.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I don't want to see any of these guys play. To be honest, I think Eddie, whatever his name is, they're going to be hunting him down. He going to have to be on the bench. He just
You have to take him
all
off
he
the
is.
floor.
Yeah. So, but I think to your point earlier, Shelton, you may see one or two guys contribute right away, but this is probably this draft definitely fits into FIFO's 3 to 5. With some of these guys in here. Because that's what I was reading up, just a lot of the recaps, and even some of the people that follow the draft and do this stuff for a living, they were the ones that I went to. What are you guys saying? Because this is all you do.
Yeah.
How do they feel about the draft? And even they were like, yeah, I don't know. Like anybody 1 through 10 could be number one. And I'm being a little hyperbolic. They didn't literally say 1 through 10, but they were like, those first couple of picks, anybody can go because there's not a lot of separation in talent in this draft. So they were like, it's just you just find somebody, you just plug them in and just move on to the next.
Yes.
So I think
is that good? Do y'all think that's good or bad for the NBA though?
Spike,
I think you would want to have a pipeline.
Bad.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You said it was bad, Shelton?
Yeah, I think it's good and bad. It's good because once again, you're going to see somebody pop. Somebody's going to step out in this crowd. Somebody's going to separate themselves. Somebody's going to click early. They're on the right team, in the right spot with the right package. But for the most part, there's not enough stars for people to hang their hats on. Nobody's excited because, and you can see it in you know how you watch the draft parties in the NFL and you announce your pick and everybody goes crazy because they know who it is and they're excited to see them with their teams. Even your biggest sports fans knew nothing. I can't even remember the dude's name that Charlotte drafted. And I've not seen one highlight of him as of yet. So it's very difficult to wrap your head around it to say it's a big difference in the excitement that it builds after a draft that you normally get. That ain't there because you don't know who nobody is yet.
I'll tell you what, they better be glad they got Ant Edwards to lean on for the next couple of years until they find a new pipeline of stars coming out of college or the Ignite League or whatever it is that they're doing under the NBA. But they have to address it. Like the most exciting part of this draft, I'm sure we'll get to, is Bronny. Like that's probably the player that people are going to be looking for next year and see what he does. And we're talking about a second round pick that averaged 3 points a game in college. Like that can't be good for the NBA.
Well, I think that it's like that link that Kyle sent. It is the game is global. And right now, if you really look at everything, nobody's even watching damn college like that. So that's kind of the issue. If you're not having stars being developed in college to move over to the NBA to a point where we know them, just flipping over, like, everybody knew who Angel Reese was because of things that happened. But that's it. So you have that issue there. And there's a lot of people from France. So I don't know what these basketball players are doing over there in France, bro. These American basketball players, when they went over there, get out, but it's just if you're putting on a TV show, you can't sell advertising because people are not interested in showing up to watch who's going to go where. So I don't. Yeah, it's going to take them time to develop before they become a guy. But we see it now. Nobody gives a fuck about Joker or Luka like that.
Right.
That's true. Like ESPN will push it a little bit, like you said, but nobody really gives a fuck. It doesn't make the mainstream like an Anthony Edwards was as he's rising to stardom. And Marty McFly in the chat was saying like one bad draft is not going to end anything. That's true. It's not just this bad draft though that we're speaking on. It's the pipeline. It's like you just said, Ken, they're not even entertaining players in college anymore. Like since Zion, and that's been what, 8 years?
Yeah.
Like, this is the last time that we've been like, oh man, I got to see this guy play. McFlag, Connor, or whoever may do it this year, but that's really going to depend on how he comes out of the gate. But even past that, like who are you waiting on? Like Bryce James after that? And then after that, like, it doesn't seem like that there's going to be a large pipeline for it.
Nah, it's
Bryce gonna be the dude, Ken.
Nah, it's them nepotism NBA players. I forgot one of y'all put it in the chat.
Oh
about
yeah,
all
the Anthony's and the Boozers and the
Yeah.
those are the ones, bro.
Carmelo kid, Boozer
Mhm.
kid. It's a couple more too. I can't even think of.
Matt
But yeah,
Barnes
that's
kids.
Matt.
It's
Matt Barnes.
Those are the ones
That's what the
that
NBA is
we'll
becoming,
know.
though.
yeah.
That's the difference in the NBA that we grew up knowing, where you see these guys that go to college, they come from some type of situation where they just get that dog in them. And I'm not saying that these kids don't, but it just doesn't sell the same way. They're not as marketable as you like. That's Carmelo Anthony kid. Like, yeah, I may want to see him play once or twice, but after I see that, like, is there going to be star power there? Is it just going to be it's Carmelo Anthony kid?
Mm-hmm. You just don't see the separation you used to see. You used to see certain players.
Yeah, Gilbert Arenas' son. That's who I was trying to think of.
Yeah, but it used to be a point where you would see true separation. Like it was just certain players were just super nice, and they stood out, amongst the crowd. Now it's like it's a level playing field, which can be a good thing for competitiveness and parity, but it's not so good when you're looking for that next superstar. Right now, we're in a period where we need somebody to carry on the legacy, and it's Ant, but it's got to be more than Ant. We got Wemby too, but we need.
We got Ant, we got Wemby, we got Ja. I mean, if you feeling frisky, you maybe can throw Jalen Brunson in there. But I mean, beyond that, do it have to like Bronny? Like, depending on what he do. But I mean, it starts to thin out as far as crossover. Yeah, there are a lot of stars in the NBA, but we're talking about crossover, like major KD, Steph Curry, LeBron James type stars.
Yeah,
I don't see that.
Well, we'll see what happens, but Manny, though, let's get to the thing that only Americans care about.
I wanted Manny on here.
He should have came on. He should have came on.
And he was hot because apparently Rich Paul was calling everybody. This is a report. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah,
telling everybody not to draft Bronny, and if they did, he was going to go to Australia. And it set up the moment that happened that everybody's been talking about for years now. I don't know. I think this may have been one of the first programs to jump out there, though, to be honest, before it really became a thing. But yeah, man, Bronny, father and son.
That's huge.
It's happening.
That's huge. I love it. I didn't like it at first because I'm like, man, y'all overhyping. People were overhyping it. But the more I warmed up to it, the more I thought about it. I was watching Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. Play together, and I was like, man, that was a special time in life. This is something we will never see again. We won't. Well, we may see it again because these dudes now.
Bryce be here 2 years.
We'll see if Bron still around. But what I'm saying is we'll never see it with another. It probably will never be another father and son to play together ever again in the NBA.
Shelton, which Bron you
wouldn't even know
about?
if Bronny gonna make the team.
That's true.
You talking about Bronny or Bron? The real Bron.
The real Bron.
Like, well, yeah, which one won't be around in 2 years? That's the real question that you gotta ask.
But Rich Paul, I was bugging. I was like, Rich Paul telling the team not to draft Bronny. I was like, that's like telling me not to eat some pig feet. I'm not gonna do that anyway. Like you, but the thing about it is, I saw what they were saying. They were gonna draft him to kind of hold him hostage and say we'll trade him to you for Austin Reeves. So that was what that was put out there for. So I think that they were trying to sabotage that from happening. So somebody was going to jump out there and take a flyer on Bronny and offer him in trade to the Lakers and make the Lakers.
I ain't mad I'm not mad at Rich Paul for playing day game. I'm sure this shit happens all the time, but because they good old boy white folks and been in this network forever, it's never leaked. I think they feel safe leaking it because Rich Paul is rather new. Well, not new anymore, but he ain't from the old guard in this profession. So he don't have as many friends and he don't run in the same circle. So they feel comfortable leaking the shit that he's doing behind the scenes when everybody else in the business does the same shit that he does, but they stuff never get leaked. So I don't blame Rich Paul for that at all. I think he's doing a great job. I think it was a great job in order to get Bronny to the Lakers. Shit, we all know, like we all being for real. We know Bronny wasn't supposed to even get drafted. You talking about somebody that averaged 3 points a game, but his last name is James. So what they did to get him on the Lakers, I'm not mad at it, bro. Like if in that case, you have to be mad at Eli Manning daddy for saying, oh, well, he's not going to go to the Chargers. He's going to go to the Giants. Or you have to be mad going all the way back to, I think it was John Elway saying, well, if y'all draft me, I'm going to play baseball.
Absolutely.
Brian wanted his son to play with him, and he's got enough pull with the Lakers to do that. So, wow, okay. Now let's see if he can make the team.
Right.
I ain't mad at him giving him the opportunity.
He's making the team for sure. And shout out to Woj, man, for putting it out there, because Woj said it straight up. Like, y'all don't act like there's something new. Y'all know they've been doing it forever. And Woj said it. So shout out to him for putting it out there like that. Because he said this ain't nothing new. And by the time it's happened on the other side. That's basically what he said in a nutshell.
Yeah, let them do it. Shit.
Yeah. And I think that, it's funny.
We see it with coaches and the sons all the time.
I need to look back because I don't think they've ever separated the draft night before, but somebody made it interesting.
No, this is the first time that this has happened. This is the first time this has happened.
And the point that they made was they did it on purpose so Bronny
could get a night. Yeah.
And
that's it.
On coverage.
Bronny is the 55th pick, I believe it was, is the most exciting part of this draft.
Absolutely.
So they had to do another night and show LeBron at the house and all of this shit.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the point that we were making before. Like, where is the star power going to continue to come from in the NBA? I know when people get there, they're going to get their bones and they'll be good, they'll have good games, and people will start to emerge as stars. But there's still something that you take away when you go into a night like this and you're like, damn, I ain't really excited about any of these people. Like, that usually doesn't happen in the NBA. It's usually the one that you see the most as to where, because the impact is so immediate. It's not like football and maybe, you got to go through training camp and maybe they make the field, maybe they don't, maybe it takes a year depending on the position, if they'll really have an impact, maybe they play guard or whatever it may be if they got drafted high. But with the NBA, the appeal has always been that number one pick, that number 2, 3, 4, the lottery. Like, someone in there you want to see next year, someone in there you expecting to be like, oh, he's going to be good. They let him slip all the way down there. They took him too early, whatever it may be. And that just was not the case.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is that Dalton Connect guy really that nice?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
watch some highlights. I seen some highlights of him.
Man.
I watched
that white boy can hoop.
I watched him play. Who did he play? I forgot what team he played. Kentucky or somebody. He played somebody good and gave him 40. And it was a legit 40 piece. So he pushed the ball in the basket.
Hoop, man.
And he'll
I think he had 30 like 8 times in college. Like, that ain't usual for to score 30 a game. He had 30 like 8 outings in college.
And will dunk on you too. He wasn't at I think he was only at Tennessee.
Athletic white boy. Yeah, athletic white boy too, Ken.
Yeah. So he got some posters out there. But I really, really like his game. And he was the focal point of the defense. So in saying that, he still was able to get off in those games, knowing that he was a focal point. Now, he, of course, playing with LeBron, things are different. But it should be easier because the pressure is not going to be on him. Everybody watching Bronny. And everybody's into that story. So it should be less pressure on him. What I'm saying is, you watching that story, that's what you think about with the Lakers, not their first.
No, they watching Spike.
We watching him. Nobody on the other team is watching it, so it ain't gonna be no pressure off him as far as rotations. And nobody on the other team is worried about Bronny. Y'all think he gonna play in the summer league?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, he has no choice. He has no choice. Bronny got a choice. Bronny's a good athlete. If nothing else, he's an athlete. The problem that he faces is that he's 6'1" with shoes on and can't.
They listed at 6'2".
So that's
6'1" forward. That's what the problem is.
That's kind of hilarious.
It'll be interesting to see. But watch Dalton Connect's highlights. You'll be impressed.
Why are people tripping out about this Kyle Flapowski guy?
What did they say about him?
No white boy.
Well, I mean, I think I saw Jason Tatum say, "Oh, teams are going to regret not drafting him on day one."
Oh, because he dropped,
because he went to Duke. One because start with he went to Duke. That's start there. Because Jason Tatum went to Duke, so that's why he would say that about him.
Yeah, he was in the draft room that first night and went home, of course. But he was a true talent. He was their best player at Duke this past year. Well, for the past 2 years, and he does have a lot of talent. He's a white guy that can shoot the ball pretty nice. Free throw
He's that
shooting.
traditional white boy that Duke always got, Ken.
Yeah.
He's that white boy. He Christian
Pretty
Laettner. He all of those white boys.
He's a little more athletic. He's close to the combination of Christian Laettner and Miles Plumlee. Not quite as good as either one, to be honest. Well, Mason, he's probably better than Miles. Probably closer to Mason because he's athletic enough. But they felt like he was talented enough to go early. But like I said, I like the draft that Utah had because Utah got both those players. They got Filipowski and they got same thing with Isaiah Collier. Like I said, he was projected early on to be the number one pick. He was the top high school player going into college last year. But he went out to USC and broke his hand, which caused him to drop tremendously in the draft. I think he was drafted like 29th or something crazy like that. But dude is nice. Dude is super nice. And
where did Flip end up going?
Utah. Utah got both those guys.
Second round?
Yeah.
That's a perfect Utah player, Ken.
He is a Utah player.
He is 1,000,000%. You know what we mean when we say that. He's the perfect fit for Utah.
Yes. And they got two of them already.
Not Utah, then Boston.
They got Utah already got two of them just like him. They got I forgot the dude's name. The dude he played in Chicago first, 23 and 22. Westler, and then I forgot the other dude's name. But they already
got the dude that play for him now?
Huh?
You talking about the dude that been playing for him, or you talking about the draft pick?
Yeah, they just got him from Chicago a couple years ago.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
I can't either, but he's like their leading scorer.
Yeah.
So they got Utah. I like what Utah did. I like the moves that they made. I like that team.
Did it seem like there was a lot of white guys?
Marketing, that's his name.
Like a lot of white guys drafted more than usual.
Yeah, because
foreign overall.
You take the foreigners in there, you know what I'm saying? So I guess if you look at it that way, yes. As far as stateside goes, you had a couple of them that shine this year, like I said, Reed going to Houston as a guard is nice.
Can he play?
Yeah, he can. He can play. I like him.
He look like Peyton Pritchard to me.
He can hoop.
Reed Shepard.
Yeah, he can hoop. I'm trying to see who else. Klingon. He's 7'2".
Who's the best American-born black player?
Rob Dillingham. Rob.
Man, y'all really on this guy, bro.
But I like Stephon Castle too, though. So that's kind of tough to say, man. Stephon Castle would probably be my number one choice because he's 6'5", 6'6". Athletic as all get out. He was a champion. Rob got that bag though, and Rob got that attitude and the bag. But
so he'll probably be the one with Wemby beside him, and they have that 1-2 punch, and then they got Pop coaching them. Castle will probably be the breakout player of this draft. It looks like because he got the pedigree.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna look up this Rob Dillingham guy. See what
Dillingham did his thing at Kentucky too. He good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a hooper.
Okay.
Thank you, Mello. Yeah, Laurie Marketing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have anything else. You know, it's a lot of wait and see to me. I think the interesting thing, seeing a lot of international players being drafted. I think if I'm the NBA, what I would do is I would find a way to work out some type of partnership or deal to get some of these guys, these prospects, some airtime, so you know Americans can see them. Americans, you know, they're prejudiced. They're all kind of shit, bro. And if you're an American, they really don't give a damn who you are. And even a guy as great as Luka is on the biggest stage, the ratings were down. Yes. So we see that Luka can't really elevate and pump up ratings. We saw the same thing happen with Joker, and we also saw the same thing happen with Giannis. So yeah, I think Embiid, but see, Embiid found a way to Americanize himself to a certain degree because he did that thing with Rihanna. So he kind of went viral. So
and he gonna play for us in the Olympics too. So he's making it known. Like,
So I think you know, I think that's what they could try to do. I don't know if it'll work, but you know, Americans be on that nationalism stuff. You know, they be on some other shit, bro.
You know something else interesting too about this draft, Ken, is that a lot of these players are not even going to play in the league. These guys are not going to play this year. A lot of them are going to be stashed overseas, like the foreign players that are drafted with potential usually are. You look at a player like I forgot the Knicks draft pick, but they talked about him because the dude's a kid. He's like 18 years old, and he's got growing to do. Some of these guys are still growing into their body, and they're not going to play right now. They're not NBA ready. So they're going to send them right back over there and
Farm
hold
system.
them.
A farm system, basically.
Absolutely. And they're going to send them right back over there and let them play for their country and bring them over here in a couple of years. So that's what, like I said, that's what the Knicks are going to do. So that's their draft pick 2 years from now that they gave up coming back. So that's going to be the case for a couple of these players.
Yeah.
Well, Noah Perez, we'll see. Hopefully Wemby can change that. I do like Wemby. Wemby can play, but Wemby got a lot of coverage before he came over here. So it was a lot of marketing and hype behind him. So I think that definitely helped elevate him. But nobody was talking about Sarr or Richard Worcestershire sauce. You know, nobody was talking about him. And the Hawks got him. And we don't even know if he can play because I was watching I forgot what group I was listening to, but they covered the draft and they did this whole thing where they were breaking down certain things about where he's good and where he ain't. So I don't know. We'll see. But
it's yet to see. Hey, you
they
know
said
what's
by the
funny?
time Wemby gets to his next contract, it's going to be around $90 million a year.
I can see that. He deserves it. The talent plus the fact that he's bringing in a whole nother international audience for just him. So just like Yao Ming did for NBA, he could do the same.
Like Ken said, it ain't my money.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the amount of money Spike that he brings to the table for that team, $90 million is a drop in the bucket. So you're gonna get paid what you're worth. I worked at a job where I've gotten some checks, and I'm like, God, dog, if you can afford to pay me this, what are you making?
What you making?
Yeah, so that's the same thing in the NBA. If you can afford to pay that man that much a year, you got to be making a killing off of him. So in saying that, that's why. Yeah. Hey, but what I was gonna say is I saw for the first time, I was thinking about Wemby. What I thought about him was like, he needs a commercial. Like they trying to do commercials and stuff. And I finally saw Joker on the commercial, which I don't think. That. Yeah, I was like, dang, that's crazy. I don't think I ever seen him on a commercial before. Same thing with Luka. I've never seen a Luka commercial. And a couple of other guys we consider, top tier players don't have commercials. So you really got to.
It's like what Ken said. American businesses probably want American people speaking for their business. It's like what Ken said. It's very subtle racism. It ain't just black-white racism here. It's nationalism racism.
Right. Right.
Well, FIFO won't be able to make it. He just texted me, but yeah, man, that's all I got. I will say, we'll be out for at least until the 23rd of July. That's when training camp starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we'll be getting into football.
Spike Dallas gonna have training camp.
I don't know what. Hey, I ain't gonna step on it, but I have my take. I have my take about Dallas this year.
Dak ain't gonna show up. CD ain't gonna show up.
All of them can kick rocks, Sheldon. Let me tell you that right now. Dak can kick rocks. Go somewhere else.
Hey, Ford, I'm not trying to hear Biden say anything, bro. Y'all can have that debate.
I got it playing in the background.
I'm good on seeing two old white men on stage arguing about who's less racist.
Right now they talking about who better for black people right now too, Ken, as you say.
Hey, that's like verses, ain't it?
Bro, Biden has this constant look of shock on his face. It's crazy. Like he's just stuck. Like, every time it's just like that. Oh,
yeah, y'all got it. So,
oh man.
All right, man. Well, I saw the Star commercials. None of Giannis commercials work. But anyway, man. And I actually thought the Joker commercial actually wasn't that bad, Shelton.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
It was actually
and they
kind of
tied
funny.
it into the kids because it's what's the Despicable Me, whatever the little yellow things is. They tied it into that, so kids are gonna know who he is, and that may speak to some like more popularity or longevity for the younger generation.
Yeah,
they try to make him like the villain in the movie.
We got to give Giannis his props though, because he even got the Nazis on a commercial. How you do that? I can see you getting him in the league, which is crazy in itself. But you got him on a commercial with you. Like, I ain't even gonna do a commercial.
That's the nepotism you should complain about. Don't complain about Bron nepotism. Complain about that nepotism. Like, what is he doing here? Did y'all see where what's my man? They have all the different color shoes. I mean, he's played for all the teams. He played for Philly recently.
PJ.
Number 7, PJ. Yeah, PJ Tucker. On a podcast, Gilbert Arenas compared PJ to the Nazis, and PJ responded to him. He said, "When I see you, we fighting. It's on site, bro." Like, you compare me to the Nazis.
Because you cannot
it's on site.
PJ. Hey, you know, PJ was one of my favorite college players. Go back and watch PJ play at Texas. I used to love PJ.
Yeah. Compare me to the Nazis, we gotta fight.
That's an awful comparison because the Nazis ain't none of that. And if I was their other little brother, I'd be mad because how you have him with you everywhere but not me?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
but the other one won the championship first, so he's straight.
Yeah, he got more clout than the Nazis.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll catch you guys. We appreciate you guys as always showing up, and yeah, when we come back, I may pop up do some videos every now and then if something go down. So we won't be completely MIA, but yeah, man, when we come back, it'll be we'll be heading to the second half of the year and getting ready for football.
Yeah, man,
that's it. We'll catch you guys next time. We out. Peace.
Peace.